Issues in the pool have reached boiling point. Should Michael Phelps really have so much gold? Is swimming's buffoon Ryan Lochte simply misunderstood? And why do synchronized swimmers always look so darn happy? We're diving into the hottest issues of aquatic sport, here on The Burning Issue. It's one of the most popular sports at the Olympics. But are there too many swimming medals? Does Michael Phelps deserve so much gold? You can't help but admire Michael Phelps, the most successful Olympian of all time, with 23 gold medals, plus 3 silver and 2 bronze, for 28 times on an Olympic podium. It couldn't have been easy. At times he struggled with relationships, and at times he struggled with the bigger demons of alcohol abuse and, incredibly, self-worth. So his comeback to dominate the Rio pool at the age of 31 was, without question, exceptional. But we do have one question. Does Phelps really deserve to own 23 gold medals? When the closest anyone in athletics has been able to get to that is a guy called Paavo Nurmi in the 1920s, whose tally of 9 includes 4 events long since defunct. And what about this? How can Phelps win medals in 28 events when his equivalent on dry land, a guy named Usain Bolt, has only won 8? 9 if you count the relay gold taken away from him for a drug infraction by one of his teammates. We're not doubting Phelps is the greatest swimmer to have ever swum. We're just wondering whether they're handing out swimming gold just a little too freely. Let's compare running and swimming. There are 32 swimming events in an Olympic pool, 16 for men and 16 for women, in freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly. There are 29 running events on an Olympic track, just running. No hopping, skipping, running backwards, or cartwheeling. The 4 different strokes over multiple distances, plus 2 medleys and 3 relay events, and the relatively quick recovery period means swimmers can compete in many more events than track athletes at any one Games. 18 swimmers have been able to win 5 or more Olympic gold medals, but only 6 track and field athletes. And only 3, Usain Bolt, Carl Lewis, and Allyson Felix, have done it under the current Olympic program. The stats don't lie. It's too easy to win swimming medals. It doesn't mean Phelps isn't great, just maybe not the greatest. Phelps now seems contented in retirement, so why doesn't anyone believe him? That story after the break. So, does Michael Phelps really mean it this time? After his astonishingly good comeback to win 5 gold medals and a silver in Rio, the greatest swimmer of all time couldn't have been more emphatic in his announcement that he was finally ready to hang up his spandex.
I think it was finally setting in where this was my last time. This was my last meet, my last warm-up, and you know, my last races ever. And I think that was just kind of going through my head the whole time, and I was replaying a lot of my past, like my swimming career throughout, you know, the last 20 years, 24 years, and that just sort of made me emotional. And I think that was something I didn't have in London, and I think that's why, for people who don't believe me that I'm not coming back, that's why you can tell that I'm not, this is it, I'm done, no more.
So why don't people believe you, Michael? Well, perhaps it's because while you may be great at swimming, you suck at retirements. Remember this?
I will be retiring after London. My mom wants to go to Rio. We can go on vacation there, but I will not be swimming after London.
And at the end of the London Games, this.
I was able to win a couple gold medals, win some silvers, have some fun, and go out and achieve everything that I wanted to.
It turned out later Phelps wasn't being quite true, and that he hated the London Games and the way he ended his career. And in retirement, he was like a fish out of water. He hit the celebrity talkback circuit, hit the celebrity golf circuit, and he hit the booze. And finally, like so many of sport's adrenaline junkies, he came back. After putting on 40 pounds, Phelps announced his return appropriately at a fast food venue.
You know, over the last year, I've had an amazing time being able to travel the world, and I want to start getting back into shape, physical shape for myself more than anything. That's something that I need to do, something that I want to do.
So when he said he was quitting after Rio, it was only natural for the media to take it with a grain of salt. Questioned at the Laureus Awards, Phelps was still adamant it was all over.
I think that's where I was 4 years ago. You know, I hated being back in the water. I hated being around the pool, and I think that's why I retired. You know, I think being able to come back, finding out the true enjoyment that, you know, for me, of what I have in the pool, I think it's something, it's incredible. You know, it'll always be a part of my life, and swimming has done so much for me in my life. And you know, I think now I can do it on my own time. I'm not forced to go and swim, you know, 4 or 5 hours.
But here's the thing, Michael. If you want people to believe you about retirement, don't go tweeting stuff like this. Some dreams/goals you just can't get rid of. Been doing a lot of thinking, and I've decided that I'm going to make another comeback. Even if it was on April Fool's Day. Fact is, Phelps softened his stance on retirement a few weeks after that, when saying he was retired for now. Sports Illustrated and other media outlets quoted him as saying, "We'll see if I get that itch again." Phelps would be jumping into the Tokyo pool at the age of 35. And while it would be foolish for anyone to write him off, there's a very good reason to hope that it doesn't happen. Because if it did, he would be raising the possibility that Ryan Lochte knows what he's talking about.
You know, he said he was gonna retire after 2012. And I was the only person that said he's gonna come back. I think he's gonna come back again. Just because when you get to this stage, we thrive off that excitement of getting on those blocks and racing the 7 best other swimmers in the world. We love that excitement. We love that challenge. And now that he's found a different purpose in the sport of swimming, I think he's gonna come back. And because he wants that challenge. He wants to push his limits.
Ryan Lochte, serial knucklehead, couldn't be right. Could he? Their grip on the sport is impressive, and it's only getting stronger. Why are Chinese divers so dominant? In the precise discipline of diving, China is a universal force. In fact, it's rare that a sport is so utterly dominated by one nation. Table tennis, perhaps another example. China also having a stranglehold on that field. Since synchronized diving was introduced in Sydney, 10 golds are up for grabs, 13 in Kazan with the 1-meter springboard included. China has been gradually tightening its grip at the top level, especially at the 2011 World Championships on home soil when it swept all 10 available gold. So why is China so good at diving? A 2016 interview in Time Sport of students at Huangxi State Sports School, a breeding ground for top Chinese athletes, gives a clue. One of the 5-year-old students knew exactly why she had the ingredients to become a diving champion. "I enjoy eating bitterness," she said. This acquired taste for excellence, developed through China's state-controlled system, is, while brutal, effective at honing the athlete's body into a mechanical masterpiece, a device for splitting water from the youngest age. And out of the crucible, champions like Wu Mingjia have emerged, the owner of Olympic gold medals from Athens, Beijing, London, and Rio. China's next generation boasts the likes of 10-meter platform prodigy Chen Rulin, who won her first gold at Beijing age 15 and has golds from London and Rio. Through her stringent upbringing, Rulin knows how to persevere through injury and pain while still achieving perfection. It's a level of devotion to physical exceptionalism the rest of the world doesn't quite understand. Tom Daley achieved bronze in the individual 10-meter platform in London and the 10-meter synchronized in Rio with partner Daniel Goodfellow, and claims he's fully committed to perfection. But here in the lead-up to London, he spoke of work he also had on the side as a TV and social media personality, along with other commitments.
When I was leading into the Olympics, I was at school full-time, and nobody told me off for going to school full-time. So for me, it's always nice to have a distraction. And I don't actually do that much at all, and diving is always my #1 priority.
So it's nice to have the distractions of being famous. You were busy studying at school, yet you claim diving was your #1 priority? Mate, it's no wonder you got bronze. What would your Chinese rivals think if they saw you flapping around in the Caribbean here having way too much fun? Get back in the gym, brother. The collective focus the Chinese are famous for became particularly effective when synchronized diving came in. See, it's not just perfection on your own you're shooting for. It has to be tied to the mug next to you. The Russian athletes have managed similar sublimity. So while the rest of the world continues to mollycoddle its kids, failing to teach them that in the sport of diving, weakness is crushed, you can expect to see China rule the towers for many moons to come. Coming up after the break, he's portrayed as swimming's biggest knucklehead. But is Ryan Lochte just misunderstood? Multi-Olympic and world swimming champion Ryan Lochte has been contender for Buffoon of the Year on various occasions. He's that handsome, all-American swimming dude with the permanent self-satisfied grin. Known for wearing annoying shoes.
I don't know, they're different.
Who seems to say stupid things too often and find trouble way too easily. But is he actually misunderstood? He's been misunderstood before. Famously, we thought he'd been robbed at gunpoint at a gas station in Rio while there for the Olympics. But later things were cleared up and it was understood Lochte had in fact vandalized the gas station while out partying with teammates Jimmy Feigen, Gunnar Bentz and Jack Conger. So we actually misunderstood him because he lied about being mugged and filed a false police report. Right, all clear, we understand perfectly. The incident in Rio went down only 12 months after Lochte started claiming he'd grown up, by the way.
starting to settle down in my love life. Business-wise, everything. I'm starting to take matters in my own hands instead of letting other people do it, so it's good.
Lochte doesn't do himself any favours by being so candid about his after-hours adventures either. When you hear of highly paid athletes dealing with injuries, you want it to be sport-related, but not with Lochte.
There's been a couple of bumps in the road with knee surgery, doing breakdancing, doing stupid stuff like that.
But is there more to him than meets the eye? Method to his madness, as they say. When you hear him talk about his desires to grow the sport of swimming with his profile, along with arch-rival Michael Phelps, perhaps so.
Between Michael being as fast as he is, the stuff he's done in the pool, and me, my weirdness outside the pool, I think that definitely brought a lot of attention to the outside world, outside the sport of swimming. So, I mean, we're here to just keep it going.
So is it possible that he behaves like such a clown just to get attention on behalf of the sport? Man, maybe he is misunderstood. And we all know how lacking in personality swimmers can be. Speaking of Phelps, you have to feel for Lochte on some level that he's been born in the great man's era. Perhaps he acts out so much because he craves attention from living in the shadow. He does make great efforts to deflect attention away from their rivalry too, even after he beats Phelps, which has happened on numerous occasions throughout his career.
I don't focus my energy just on one race with Michael. I kind of go out there, do what I have to do. When it's all said and done, I forget about it and just move on.
But what does Phelps think about losing to Lochte? When the greatest ever swimmer made his comeback from retirement in 2014, Phelps took second to Lochte in the 200-metre individual medley at the US Swimming Champs. And listen to what he had to say.
It's almost better for me to sometimes have things like that happen than do, you know, go out and win, do this, do that, do a best time, whatever. It's almost good for me to have something like this happen because in the past I've always been able to build off of these things.
Sounds like losing to Lochte isn't something Phelps just moves on from. That pressure would be difficult to handle, perhaps enough that we should offer Lochte some sympathy. What's more, he's endured a life of sacrifice.
You know what? Tomorrow is my birthday, and I think it's the first time in years where I get to celebrate and I don't have to swim.
Oh, on your birthday, mate? But then, get a load of this.
Obviously, I won every race, so I don't think that's a real question. But tomorrow's my birthday, so hopefully I get a birthday present.
That's right. The champ sees swimming on his birthday as a gift, speaking there at the 2012 US Olympic trials. But Lochte's all, what about me and my birthday cake? You know what, maybe we are being a bit hard on the guy. While he's no Phelps, he is pretty good, even managing to break a world record after the swimsuits were banned.
That's what I want to do in the sport of swimming is make non-believers believers, and I think that's what I did, and I wanted to be one of the first people to do something like that, and I mean that's what I went out there and I did.
Further, in his defense, he does do heaps of charity work, especially that which raises money for swimming scholarships. And maybe we've misunderstood that he takes the whole swimming thing seriously at all.
Honestly, it kind of goes through one ear out the other. I don't really listen to everyone talk about, oh, Ryan's like the new best swimmer or any of that. I don't really listen to that. It kind of goes through one ear out the other.
Maybe that's what it is. Many things go in one ear and out the other with Lochte.
1, 2, 3, cheer!
She's dealt with conditions most of us would cringe at, but she really doesn't seem to mind. Is Kerry-Anne Payne swimming's greatest optimist? This is Kerry-Anne Payne, English 10-kilometre open water swimmer, former world champion, Olympic silver medalist, and possibly swimming's greatest ever optimist. She's an athlete with a glamorous edge, but it's a look that belies a deep toughness. The physical discomfort an athlete endures over 10 kilometers of swimming is more than most mortals can handle. But Kerry-Anne is built of different stuff. In fact, it's almost like she was born for a life of pain, her family name befitting her chosen field. But despite the torture, she's always seemed positively drawn to the long form of the sport.
I can guarantee you that if I didn't enjoy swimming, I wouldn't be getting out of bed in the morning at 5 a.m. So swimming is all about fun.
While 50-metre swimmers are barely in the water long enough to get wet, open water swimmers grind through 2 hours over 10 kilometres. You might say that land marathons are run over the same time, but they don't have the same obstacles.
There is literally about 30 to 50 girls all trying to get to the same point as you. Jellyfish and dead animals.
You heard right. She said dead animals, folks. And that pack of 50 girls will often give each other kicks to the face, black eyes, and broken noses. But Payne reminded everyone what type of toughness it takes to be an open water swimmer in the lead up to London.
I think that it just depends on the person and how strong-willed you are. You know, it's not the most glamorous of sports, but that's fine. We all know that, and we're all prepared for that when we get in.
She was strong enough to get fourth there, by the way. Of all the hard kilometres she's swum in her career, though, there's one thing that puts Payne a cut above in terms of her optimism. It's her view on the benefits of open water swimming over doing laps in an indoor pool.
You don't have a lane, basically. So other than that, it's pretty much identical, but you get to see the sun and you get to get suntan, whereas in the pool, you kind of lose your tan.
This is a girl who grew up in English weather, talking about the sunshine and getting tans, ironically under grey skies at Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire. Yep, even if it's got dirty river water laced with dead animals in it, Kerry-Anne always seems to see the glass half full. Still to come, what would it take to wipe the smiles off those delirious synchronized swimmers? Okay, now for the really hard question. Why on earth do synchronized swimmers always look so damn happy? Look at them. It's like they're telling secret jokes every time they dip underwater. Sure, it's understandable that you have to look like you're doing these kinds of moves with relative ease for the judges. But you get examples like Japan's Minami Kono and Yuriko Osawa here, who look like they've swallowed something that's been put in the water. It really makes no sense because the competition stuff is just the tip of the iceberg. What lies beneath the surface is brutal. Russia's all-conquering athletes train 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. It's why they're the best in the world by a significant margin. But it also implies there's a serious level of masochism going on. It's not just the self-punishment either. Synchronized swimming is a sport in which teammates push each other through massive pain thresholds. And they've often got to deal with some funky conditions.
It's very important. It might sound silly, but every pool feels different. You get pools that feel really thick in the water and it's quite hard to move. And then you get ones that are really light, like this one here. It's fantastic. And the temperature's just right and the chlorine levels aren't too strong, so it's great for our eyes as well.
So just a mild chlorine sting to the eyes is okay then? The smiles look even more stupid with the nose clip. You're fooling no one into believing you're comfortable wearing one of those things. Yet they insist on grinning like maniacs. And as if to rub it in even further, they have a habit of wearing the most outlandish costumes.
Left 2, square
Seriously, the manic happiness seems to have even trickled down to the amateur level. Folks in California here taking the activity up as a way of getting fit.
It's so much fun. You get to be a mermaid for a couple hours every week and not go to the gym, which is fantastic. And I just dress up in vintage little swimsuits and flower caps and the nose plugs and everything. It's straight out of a Hollywood movie in the 40s and 50s. It's so much fun.
There just doesn't seem to be anything that can wipe the smiles off their faces. Or is there? In 2017, five-time Olympic gold medalist and unofficial queen of synchronized swimming, Russia's Natalia Reshenko, here being celebrated for her contribution to the London Olympic winning team, was appointed as acting deputy chairperson of the Kaliningrad region government. And she looks really happy about it too. Nothing like a bit of time spent swimming through bureaucratic red tape to kill your spirits.
You will not be